Well, we clearly disagree that this is an either-or proposition. It absolutely is not. And for those of us who call Alaska home, to suggest that we would despoil our environment for short-term gain, I think is offensive. As an Alaskan, I'm offended by that. I respect every Alaskan's opinion. I respect the fact that there are those who come from a different homeland than I might, being born down in the Southeast, but I respect the views and opinions. And I think we recognize that as Alaskans, we have options. And our options, I think at the beginning of the day and the end of the day, we all want to get to the same place, that we have an economy that will allow us to stay in the most amazing place. And whether your home is Utqiagvik or Kaktovik or Ketchikan, we want to be able to remain there. But you have to have the ability to stay there. And when you live in a cold place, you need to be able to have the means to keep warm. And I think about Matthew Rexford's family and the generations that came before him, just one generation prior. It was a life and a lifestyle that was pretty harsh and pretty difficult. And literally trying to find firewood that would come down the river to keep the family home warm. And so, again, as we think about the choices that we have as Alaskans, we've always been in this place. We've always been in a place where we are resource rich. We are with a small population, our costs are high. But the effort to make sure that we can continue to remain in this amazing place has to be one where we work to find the balance, where we ensure that we have the level of food security. If you are from Fort Yukon or Kaktovik, you're going to rely on the caribou or the whale, and probably will for generations to come, as long as we care for the land and the waters. And this is our challenge, this is our charge. And I don't think any one of us wishes to be the one that says that we allowed rape, pillage, and ruin on our land for short-term gain. That's not what this is about. And I think people forget that for 40 years now, 40 plus years, we have been exploring, we have been producing, we have been giving revenue and jobs and opportunity to Alaskans and to the country. And we have done so in a way that everybody still wants to come to Alaska. Those cruise ships, people want to come to Alaska. So if we have ignored our environment, that certainly isn't apparent. And so we do require the highest standards. I believe in the country, I believe in the world. And we do that for good reason. Because when the exploration winter period is over, we don't want to see the tracks on the tundra. If the winter trail led to a place that was not going to be productive, we're making sure that we're using our smarts and our intelligence and our all that we have to develop the technologies that make some of these questions hard to answer. How can you predict how many pads we're going to need? 40 years ago, the pad in Prudhoe was pretty significant and remains today. But nobody is talking about building another Prudhoe. Because we believe that even with Prudhoe-like resources, our technology will allow us to access this in a way that is more consistent with our respect for the environment, to be able to shrink that footprint, to be able to do so much more with a smaller area, and to recognize what that delivers to us. So we don't know how many pads, we're not sure how many wells necessarily, because the technology is evolving every single day. To look, Aaron, at the diagram and to hear your testimony that you've got one series of wells that is just in production now, 1 month ago. But knowing that by 2020, what you will be able to access will be so much more than what you have put in place today. This is where the technology is taking us. We talk about the shale revolution here in the lower 48 and what that has done to allow us a level of energy independence that we never thought possible. It's not because that resource just materialized overnight in places where it wasn't. It was always there, but we've just used our smarts and our technology to allow us to access it better and more efficiently. And that's what we're doing. That's what we're proving out in Alaska. And Senator Heinrich challenged us all, go to Google Earth and take a look at Prudhoe Bay. Yes, Prudhoe Bay is up there. It is still a 65-acre pad. It is. But that's technology from 40 years ago. That's what it looked like 40 years ago. That's like telling you to stick with the same phone we were using 40 years ago and compare it to what we're using today. The statement was made that nothing has changed with the ANWR debate. And I disagree so strongly with that. The technology has changed, our ability to access and understand the science and the data and the research that we know and the effort that we are making, led by Alaskans who care to not only protect the environment, but to protect the animals, the wildlife, the waterfowl. Richard, your family has been up on the North Slope for generations, and on your mother's side for hundreds, if not thousands of years. And I bet you still feel awe and wonderment when you see those caribou come through, thousands at a time. It is amazing, it is magical, and it is spiritual. And our challenge is to allow that to continue, not only for the benefit of the caribou, but for the people who live there. And I just feel like so much of this discussion has taken place in the absence of those who live there. And so I was actually going to ask more questions, but I think we've probably taken as much time as was important to lay the record down here today. But I do hope that colleagues recognize this is not an effort to do some secret maneuver in a back room. If that were the case, we would not have had a public hearing for 5 hours, televised for all the world to see. If that were the case, we would not have an open markup like we will. None has been scheduled yet, but we will have that. And we will have an opportunity to weigh in as lawmakers on whether or not we should keep that commitment, the commitment that the governor and the lieutenant governor reminded us of. That commitment that when this 1002 area, when this area was specifically set aside for the opportunity to pursue exploration and development of our oil and gas potential, provided that certain conditions were met and the Congress approves. Well, we've gone through this battle many times, as Congressman Young reminded us, 13 times, 12 times. And I believe that we are at that place that the Lieutenant Governor has reminded us, that we are at that place where we have met that balance in that our technology is allowing us to do things that were once just unimaginable. You couldn't even imagine being able to drill down here at the center of the Capitol and be able to reach an area out by the National Harbor. This is not drilling rhetoric, as has been suggested. This is not theoretical. This is actual application. We are making it happen. And I think that's what our colleagues need to appreciate and to recognize, is that change has happened for the better, allowing us to be able to be more responsible as we access our resources, but to do so in a way that allows not only for the jobs and opportunity for Alaskans, but to address the national security issues that Senator Sullivan has raised, to address the environmental concerns, to address our energy security needs, and to do so in a manner that allows us as the United States to lead, not only leading with access to a resource that we want, but leading in a way that allows for our innovation, our really pioneering in an area is recognized. So I thank those of you who have joined us. I want to acknowledge you, Governor Walker, for remaining through the duration of this hearing, and the Lieutenant Governor, I think, making sure that this conversation is heard loud and heard clearly enables us as Alaskans to speak with even greater voice and greater clarity. So I thank you for your time, and with that, ladies and gentlemen, we stand adjourned.